Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay. So, we're going to start off by reading something about Madhavendra Puri, because this is Madhavendra Puri's disappearance day, and it'll lead in very nicely to what we're going to be reading about from the Adi Lila, chapter 3, all about the what's the chapter title there? External reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance. It'll all fit in. Okay, so this is about Madhavendra Puri. Before Lord Chaitanya appeared, he sent his eternal associates like Sri Advaita Acharya, Sri Jagannath Mishra, Sachi Mata, Madhavendra Puri, Ishvara Puri to earth. Sri Madhavendra Puri took initiation from Lakshmi Pati Tirtha in the Madhvacharya Sampradaya. He had many, but Sri Advaita Acharya and Sri Ishvara Puri were the chief disciples of Madhavendra Puri. In one way or another, all the Vaishnavas in Bengal and Kshetra Mandala, Jagannath Puri, were connected with Sri Madhavendra Puri. After Lord Chaitanya came, many of his disciples joined Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. This is a quote from Vrindavan Das Thakur. It says, Madhavendra Puri's body was completely full of divine love, so were his followers. He displayed uncommon love of God. Seeing a dark blue rain cloud, he would fall down unconscious. Day and night he was intoxicated from drinking the ambrosia of Krishna praying. Okay. After making an extensive pilgrimage of Bharat Bhumi, he passed his life in Vrindavan and Orissa. He began the restoration work of Vrindavan that Sri Rupa and Sanatana Goswami continued later. Wandering from grove to grove, remembering Radha Krishna's sweet Vrindavan pastimes, Madhavendra Puri would faint in ecstasy. In a dream, Sri Gopal ordered Madhavendra Puri to uncover a buried Gopal deity and install him atop Govardhan Hill. Madhavendra Puri celebrated Gopal's installation with an Annakut, which is a grand festival offering a mountain of foodstuffs to Krishna. This Annakut festival, also called Govardhan Puja, is one of the most important Vaishnava festivals in Vrindavan, in India, and around the world. The original Gopal deity, known as Sri Natji, Nataji, is now worshipped in Natadwar, Rajasthan. Madhavendra Puri introduced the conception of Madhurya Bhav, conjugal love, in the Madhvacharya Sampradaya. Madhavendra Puri sowed the seed of Prema Bhakti, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became the towering tree, dropping honey-sweet fruits of Prema upon everyone. And we're going to say something about that during the rest of the talk, about how Lord Chaitanya became the towering tree, dropping honey-sweet fruits of Prema upon everyone. He also revealed Viraha Bhava, the mood of love relished in separation from God. His branch of the Madhva sect distinguished itself by this ecstatic love of God. It is known as the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. In Jagannath Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed an intense mood of Viraha Bhav. This increased unlimitedly when the Lord heard verses from Srimad Bhagavatam 10th Canto, Krishna Karnamrita, Gita Govinda, Padyavali, and the love poems of Chandidas and Vijapati. Mahaprabhu's Viraha begins with a single verse spoken by Madhavendra Puri, his Padam Guru. grand preceptor. So Lord Chaitanya was the disciple of Ishvara Puri, who was the disciple of Madhavendra Puri. This is the verse. Ai dina dayadra nata he, matora nata kadavalok yase. Hridayam twad alokya kataram, dayata brahmyati kim karoti aham. O compassionate Lord of the poor and humble, O Lord of Mathura, when shall I see you again? Without seeing you, my heart has become very much afflicted. O my beloved, I am overwhelmed. What shall I do now? Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj says that as the diamond Kaustubha jewel is the most precious amongst rare valuable jewels, this shloka is the Rasa Kavya, the best verse in the entire treasury of rasa poetry. Actually, this verse was spoken by Srimati Radharani herself. It was Radha's pathetic cry to Shyamasundar, who had gone to Mathura, leaving her alone, desperate in Vrindavan. Radharani's mercy brought this same verse from the mouth of Madhavendra Puri. Reciting even a few words of this shloka would tear open the door of Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love, making him swoon in ecstasy, falling unconscious. Feeling intense separation from Krishna, Madhavendra Puri constantly chanted this verse when departing this world. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that with this verse, Madhavendra Puri teaches devotees how to achieve Krishna Prem by cultivating intense feelings of separation from Sri Krishna. Gaudiya Vaishnavas accept that this verse expresses the essence of the mood of separation. The Gaudiya Sampradaya teaches that worship of Radha and Krishna in separation represents the highest level of devotional service. At this stage of realization, the devotee feels completely, quote, vacant in the world and the absence of Krishna, unquote, from the Shastaka. A moment without Madhava feels like a millennium. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always swam in the ocean of Divyon Mada Mahabhav, the maddened ecstatic emotions shown by Sri Radha in the Brahmar Gita. In this verse, Madhavendra Puri discloses similar emotions. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas conclude that the monsoon shower of ecstatic love exhibited by Lord Gauranga during his manifest pastimes began with Madhavendra Puri. It then came through Ishvara Puri, who played the role of Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master. Okay, and just a little bit more about Madhavendra Puri. This is an excerpt from a play. Well, Prabhupada was asked to give an outline to a play back in 1967 in San Francisco. So at one point he's describing how after Lord Chaitanya took sannyas and he got permission from his mother to go, to leave Shantipur where they were meeting, and he started traveling towards Jagannath Puri. So they came to a temple, Gopinath temple. And when they got there, they saw the arti, they had kirtan, which is normal procedure. And then they sat down, and this is what happened. So Lord Nityananda described about Chira Chora Gopinath, the story of Chira Chora Gopinath. Madhavendra Puri came to this temple, Gopinath, that was the name of the deity. And while condensed milk, which is called Chira, was being offered to the deity, Madhavendra Puri wanted to taste it so that he could also prepare such condensed milk and offer it to his deity, or Gopal. So after he thought, it is being offered to Krishna and I wanted to taste it. I am so greedy. So he left that temple thinking, I am not worth to visit the temple. He felt, I'm not qualified, I should go. So he went outside the temple and sat down underneath a tree and was chanting Hare Krishna. Then, at the dead of night, Gopinath, the deity, was awakening his priest by dream. You please get up. I have kept one pot of condensed milk behind my robe. And he kept one pot of condensed milk on the floor, and he stole it, in other words. The deity stole this pot of condensed milk so that Madhavendra Puri could get it. So the Pujari woke up and opened the door and actually saw that there was a pot of condensed milk. The priests were very much astonished that, oh, he has stolen Chira for his devotee. So the order was that you take this pot and give to Madhavendra Puri. He is sitting underneath the tree. So with the pot of condensed milk, they began to cry, "Oh, who is that Madhavendra Puri? Oh, you are so fortunate. The deity has stolen condensed milk for you. Take it." So he came forward, and he was so pleased that the Lord has stolen. And this is Madhavendra Puri thinking, because I desire to taste, so the Lord has stolen one pot. In this way, from that day, he became famous, the deity, the thief of condensed milk. Chira means condensed milk, and am I pronouncing it correctly? Chora, right? Chora means thief. So the temple became famous, that the temple of the thief of condensed milk. Madhavendra Puri ki jai. Okay, so now we're going to read from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And I was asked to read the chapter introduction and then refer to a few verses. So, chapter 3, the external reasons for the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this chapter, the author has fully discussed the external reasons for the descent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, after displaying his pastimes as Lord Krishna, thought it wise to make his advent in the form of a devotee to explain personally the transcendental mellows of reciprocal service and love exchanged between himself and his servants, friends, parents, and fiancés. According to the Vedic literature, the foremost occupational duty for humanity in this age of Kali is Nam Sankirtan, or congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. The incarnation for this age especially preaches this process, but only Krishna himself, this is interesting, you've got to pay attention. The incarnation for the age especially preaches this process, but only Krishna himself can explain the confidential loving service performed in the four principal varieties of loving affairs between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Lord Krishna therefore personally appeared with his plenary portions as Lord Chaitanya. As stated in this chapter, it was for this purpose that Lord Krishna appeared personally in Navadvip in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in other words, not just to propagate the Yuga Dharma, which is the chanting of the holy name, but to give confidential loving service performed in the four principal varieties of loving affairs, which will be stated as we continue on. Only Krishna himself can do that. So Krishna's Kaviraj has here presented much authentic evidence from Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures to substantiate the identity of Lord Chaitanya with Sri Krishna himself. He has described bodily symptoms in Lord Chaitanya that are visible only in the person of the Supreme Lord, and he has proved that Lord Chaitanya appeared with his personal associates, Sri Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivas, and other devotees, to preach the special significance of chanting Hare Krishna. The appearance of Lord Chaitanya is both significant and confidential. He can be appreciated only by pure devotees and only through the process of devotional service. The Lord tried to conceal his identity as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by representing himself as a devotee, but his pure devotees could recognize him by his special features. The Vedas and Puranas foretell the appearance of Lord Chaitanya, but still he is sometimes called, significantly, the concealed descent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Advaita Acharya, going on, was a contemporary of Lord Chaitanya's father. He felt sorry for the condition of the world because even after Lord Krishna's appearance, no one had interest in devotional service to Krishna. This forgetfulness was so overwhelming that Advaita Prabhu was convinced that no one but Lord Krishna himself could enlighten people about devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Therefore, Advaita requested Lord Krishna to appear as Lord Chaitanya. Offering Tulsi leaves and Ganges water, he cried for the Lord's appearance. The Lord, being satisfied by his pure devotees, descends to satisfy them. As such, being pleased by Advaita Acharya, Lord Chaitanya appeared. Okay, so I'm just going to read a few verses here, just English. Text 1. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By the potency of the shelter of his lotus feet, even a fool can collect valuable jewels of conclusive truth from the minds of revealed scriptures. All glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. I have given the purport of the third verse. Now, O devotees, please listen to the meaning of the fourth with full attention. Okay, and that means us. Okay, so this is the fourth verse. It's actually a verse from a play, a drama that was written by Rupa Goswami called Vidagdha Madhava. And so Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is quoting it here in his book. He says, "May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendentally situated in the innermost core of your heart." He's offering a benediction. This is what's going on here, okay? Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has descended in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. So, what are we to make of this statement? It's a pretty powerful statement. It's basically what it's saying is that Lord Chaitanya is coming to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. Well, first of all, let's ask the question to ourselves. Do we think, is this hyperbole and rhetoric? No, it's hyperbole is exaggeration. Rhetoric is persuasive speech. So, no, do we think that this is just Rupa Goswami? He's one of the acharyas. You know, we know the acharyas are always just trying to talk us and make devotional service sound really good, and so that, you know, people will get into it. Is that what's going on here? Well, we're not supposed to think like that. So how are we supposed to think? How we're supposed to think is that this is a realization. This is a realization of a very highly elevated, advanced devotee. He's sharing with us in the form of a blessing, because he says, may that Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost core of your heart. He's offering a blessing here, and he's revealing to us about, you know, that this is the purpose. This is the confidential purpose of Lord Chaitanya. This is why he's coming himself. You know, the Yuga avatar for the Kali Yuga is, you know, promoting the Yuga Dharma, but Krishna came himself as Lord Chaitanya to do this. So, what again was it? He's coming to, by his causeless mercy, to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. Okay, so that's what he's coming to do. So usually when Krishna tries to do something, is he successful or unsuccessful? Successful. Usually what Krishna, you know, sets out to do something, he's going to, I mean, a name for Krishna is Satya Sankalpa, which means whatever he decides to do, that happens. And in Bhagavad Gita it says, you know, his determination is itself actual fact. So my point is that this is Krishna's determination as Lord Chaitanya. So who's that going to happen to? Who's going to actually, you know, experience this most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love? All the people out there? Well, that'd be nice, but you think that's, you know, are they the most likely candidates to experience the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love? What do you think, Panditji? Are they the most likely candidates? Just any old Tom, Dick, and Harry off the street Are they the most likely candidates to experience the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love? What do you think? They have the potential. They have the potential. But are they the most, you think, would you say they're the most likely candidates? Probably not, right? Okay. Who are the most likely candidates? The devotees, yeah. You know, people who have already come forward and have, trying to dedicate their lives to following the Acharya, Prabhupada, who's, representing Lord Chaitanya in the disciplic succession. Most likely candidate. I mean, does anybody else have any other idea there? That's what I come up with. The members of the Krishna consciousness movement, they're the most likely candidates. So the take-home lesson from this is that this is like an incredible opportunity. This is opportunity time here. We're actually taking, we're in the Krishna consciousness movement. This is the movement that has been created by Krishna in the form of Lord Chaitanya to enable certain very, very fortunate souls to experience the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. See? Krishna specifically comes as Lord Chaitanya, not just to say chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, that too, that's there, but to do this, which you just heard here. Yeah? So reading on. This is a statement by Krishna that Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami quotes. This is, my plenary portions can establish the principles of religion for each age. Oh, sorry, this is text number 26 I'm reading. So Krishna is speaking. He says, my plenary portions can establish the principles of religion for each age. No one but me, however, can bestow the kind of loving service performed by the residents of Braj. And then in the, and then to further support his point, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami quotes a Bilva Mangala Thakur. This is 27 now. This is a verse found in Bilva Mangala Thakur's Lagu Bhagavatamrita. Oh, no, sorry. It's found in Lagu Bhagavatamrita, but Bilva Mangala Thakur is not the author of that. So the statement is, there may be many all-auspicious incarnations of the personality of Godhead, but who, other than Lord Krishna, can bestow love of God upon the surrendered souls? So same point again. And then, let me find this here. All right, here we go. Prabhupada, in the purport to text 20, Prabhupada says this. I'm about halfway through the purport, a little bit further. No one but the Lord himself can teach the highest form of devotional service. Therefore, when the Lord took the place of the incarnation of Kali Yuga to spread the glories of chanting Hare Krishna, the system of worship recommended in this age, he also distributed the process of devotional service performed on the platform of transcendental spontaneous love. To teach the highest principles of spiritual life, the Lord himself appeared as a devotee in the form of Lord Chaitanya. So I don't want to get caught up in the technicalities of, wait a second, was it supposed to be another incarnation? The point is that this is like it's an incredible opportunity, an incredible opportunity that's being offered here, as I mentioned. And that's the most important point to appreciate, I think, practically speaking. Here's something, this is from the purport, text 81, jumping ahead a little bit here. And then I'm going to share some other things with devotees related to this. So you got it? It goes, it's the second paragraph in the purport. Anta Krishna refers to one who is always thinking of Krishna. This attitude is a predominant feature of Srimati Radharani. Even though many devotees always think of Krishna, none can surpass the gopis, among whom Radharani is the leader in thinking of Krishna. Radharani's Krishna consciousness surpasses that of all other devotees. Lord Chaitanya accepted the position of Srimati Radharani to understand Krishna. Therefore, he was always thinking of Krishna in the same way as Radharani. By thinking of Lord Krishna, he always overlapped Krishna. So, I'm going to try to kind of tie this all together now. So this chapter is titled The External Reasons for Lord Chaitanya's Appearance. But I want to read a little something that, to give us some insight about an internal reason, now this is an excerpt from this, once again, a play that Prabhupada was giving Hayagriva the outline for. So at one point he's describing the rasa dance. So he says, so one Krishna, one gopi, they are dancing. Then the rasa dance should be stopped, and Krishna will talk with the gopis. Krishna will say to the gopis that, my dear friends, you have come to me in this dead of night. It is not very good, because it is the duty of every woman to please her husband. So what your husband will think that you have come in such dead of night? A woman's duty is not to give up her husband, even if he is not of good character or if he is unfortunate, if he is old or if he is diseased. Still, husband is worshipped by the wife. So, actually I was going to say something, but I'm not. So, you have come here. It is very sinful. People will decry it. Please go back. Now we have finished. So in this way, the gopis replied, you cannot request us to go back, because with great difficulty and with great ecstatic desire we have come to you, and it is not your duty to ask us to go back. So in this way, then it goes on. So then they continue. The gopis won the argument there, and they continued the rasa dance. And it says here, then when the rasa dance is finished, the gopis go. Then Krishna says, speaking out loud to himself like that, he says, they are my heart and soul, these gopis. They are so sincere devotees that they do not care for family encumbrances and any bad name. They come to me, so how shall I repay them? So Prabhupada says, so he was thinking like that. How shall I repay their so ecstatic love? So he thought, I cannot repay them unless and until I take their situation to understand me, because I myself cannot understand me. I have to take the position of the gopis, how they are loving me. So Prabhupada says, so with that consideration, he took the form of Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, Krishna is blackish. Lord Chaitanya is the color of the gopis. The whole life of Lord Chaitanya is representation of gopis' love towards Krishna. And then Prabhupada further explains it. He says to Hayagriva, says, I have got my individuality, but if I want to study how you are so much obedient and loving to me, then I have to go to your position. It is very natural psychology. So that's a little further insight into, I guess, that's more like an internal reason for Lord Chaitanya's appearance, but that's okay. Now, it was mentioned in the last paragraph of that chapter introduction that I read about Advaitacharya, so I'd like to read a little something about Advaitacharya here. Okay. So Prabhupada says about Advaitacharya, he says, so I'll just read a little bit, you'll get it. They're all devotees, referring, Hayagriva asked a question about, was Advaitacharya and Srinivasacharya, and were these people devotees? And Prabhupada says, yeah, they're all devotees. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was propagating his Sankirtan movement, the Brahmins, the Orthodox Brahmins, they took objection. They came forward and they said, this is not according to Hindu Shastra, this is something new. But only these two gentlemen, Advaita, and then Prabhupada digressed a little. Advaita happened to be the head of the Brahmin community. So with his support, he was a well-to-do man, he was a rich man, influential man. His support made Chaitanya's movement successful in Navadvip. He was a very influential man. And similarly, Srinivas, he belonged to the Brahmin community. And then it also describes about how Advaita Acharya gave shelter to Haridas Thakur because he was punished by the Mohammedan magistrate. But that's a little separate. But then, because it talked about how, Advaita Acharya, by praying to Lord Chaitanya, or praying to Krishna with offering Ganges water and tulsi leaves, he actually was, what's the word? Yeah, the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. So this is something about that. So Prabhupada says, so on the side of the Ganges, people are taking bath half in the water and half above the water, and they're all chanting they're all chanting Hare Krishna. So Advaita Acharya comes in the scene and to take a bath in the Ganges and begins to dance. Oh, my mission is now fulfilled. My mission is now fulfilled. See, he was very sorry to see the condition of the people, that everyone is engaged simply for material sense gratification. Nobody is engaged in love of Godhead. So he wanted to rectify their behavior, but he thought, I am an ordinary man. What can I do? If Krishna himself comes, then he can do it. Therefore he worshipped Krishna, and he simply offered Ganges water and tulsi leaves. In this way, Krishna has taken his incarnation as Lord Chaitanya. So he has understood, so he has now understood at this moment that Lord Chaitanya has now taken his appearance. So he was dancing. Now my mission is fulfilled. Now my mission is fulfilled. How am I doing for time? Okay. Okay, I'm going to read something about Lord Chaitanya here. This is once again an excerpt from that play. At night, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would become mad in separation of Krishna. He would dash his head on the floor. Sometimes he would write with his nails, and sometimes he would go away, although the house was locked. In other words, the Gambhira was locked, and somehow or another he would get out. Nobody could understand how, but he did. And he would go away. And sometimes he would be found amongst the cowshed of Jagannath Puri. Sometimes he would be seen at the seashore. One day he was so found that he fell in the ocean, and some fishermen caught him on the net. And as soon as he was in the net, the fishermen touched Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He also began to dance. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And his fellow men, they thought, oh, he's been caught by some ghost. So in the meantime, Sri Damodar, he came to the seashore and he saw that the fisherman was dancing. So he could understand that he must have some connection with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, why this fisherman is dancing and chanting Hare Krishna? So he asked him, what happened to you? And he said, sir, I don't know. I am a fish catcher. This morning I caught one big fish, and as soon as I caught, I'm haunted. So I'm dancing. So Swarup Damodar goes, where is that fish? Let me see. So he saw in the net Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he told him, yes, I'll chant some mantra so the ghost will go away. So he made some show. All right, now your ghost is over. So he took Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw, he told Swarup Damodar, when he came, when he turned to external consciousness, he said, why have you brought me in the seaside? I was seeing the rasa dance of Krishna. I was enjoying. In this way, he was always in ecstasy. So Lord Chaitanya was always, he had I think it's described someplace in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, 3 different stages of consciousness. One, he was always absorbed, in the mood of Radharani like that. But sometimes he was completely dealing with, the external circumstances. Sometimes he was kind of half in and half out. I can't remember the Sanskrit terminology for this. And sometimes, no, he was just in. He was just totally absorbed in this, ecstasy like that, and he was oblivious to what was going on around him. And that happened a lot at night. During the day, you had visitors, of course. He has to relate to the visitors. And then the next part was they would dance in the Jagannath temple for some hours in the evening. And at that time, he was kind of half in, half out. He was kind of relating to what was going on around him, and at the same time he was deeply absorbed in the pastimes, the mellows, the ecstasies of like that. But then at the nighttime, when he was alone at night, then he got totally just absorbed internally like that. And so just to wrap it up, I'm just going to read something here. This is an excerpt from a lecture. I can't remember but Prabhupada says, Maya is so strong that as soon as I am sitting in a solitary place, then I'll think of money and women. Therefore, we should live always in assembly and chant Hare Krishna and save ourselves from the danger of material fall down. So the reason I just quoted that is just what a contrast. The contrast is that as soon as Lord Chaitanya was in a solitary place, he's like totally internally absorbed and, meditating Divya, pastimes of Krishna and the gopis. But Prabhupada's warning it for us, as soon as we're in a solitary place, we're going to be thinking about money and women. So we have to, it's an interesting contrast, and it's a good instruction as well, at the same time. So I'll stop there. Does anybody have any question or comment? Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you for the nice class, Prabhu. So, there are some external reasons for appearance of Lord Chaitanya, and there are some internal reasons, correct? We read the external reasons, and you also mentioned some internal reasons also, correct? So, the external reasons is like spreading the holy name, preaching, chanting, and
But sharing the knowledge of these different mellows is mentioned in this chapter.
Correct.
As an external reason.
Yes, and there are some internal reasons also. To release the mood of Srimati Radharani, correct? So do you see that these two things are separate, or do you see any connection between these two reasons? Like, do you see that these are like two exclusive reasons which has nothing to do with each other, or do you see that there is some correlation or there is some connection between these two reasons? I hope I'm clear, right?
Yeah. I want to think about it. I mean, I'm sure there's connection, and I'm just trying to think of like the proper answer. Well, I mean, just off the top, Lord Chaitanya wanted all those. I mean, he wanted to propagate the Yuga Dharma, but he didn't have to do it personally. But But at the same time, he's wanting to give these mellows. Like I read 3 or 4 times that excerpt from that verse by Rupa Goswami, but as far as the internal goes, he wants to taste, he wants to experience Radharani's love for him. So, I can't think of anything really intelligent to say. They're all connected. I'm sure it's connected really well, but I just can't think of the... Nakatma, help me out?
Yeah, I would add that it's all centered around the Lord's enjoyment. Whether it's an external reason, because he was engaged in Sankirtan with his devotees, was an enjoyment, an exhibition of enjoying Kirtan, or whether it was an internal reason, experiencing the love and affection of Srimati Radharani. They're connected because it's simply for the Lord's pastimes. It's his enjoyment. Whether it's external, internal, it's absolute.
Yeah, that's good. Archie, do you want to add something to that before you spoke? No, okay. Okay, thank you. Nakatma, thank you. Anybody else, anything? Yeah, okay. Next.
Did Madhavendra Puri introduce the worship of Radha and Krishna together?
Can't remember. Does anybody know the answer to that question? Yes. He did. Okay. So he was the acharya that introduced the worship of Radha and Krishna together. Madhurya, like that. Yeah, Madhavendra Puri. really big person in our line. Bhakti Avatar, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, it's very interesting that Lord Chaitanya, he's actually come to demonstrate the highest level of devotional service, which is to
Demonstrate it and distribute it. That's the point I was trying to make. Demonstrate it for sure. He did. He demonstrated it. And according to Rupa Goswami, he's coming to bestow what no incarnation ever offered before, the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. So he came to more than just demonstrate it, he came to distribute it as well. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, of course. But in order to distribute it, you have to have it. So in order to get it, I mean, Lord Chaitanya, he demonstrated the process of how to give it. And what did he do? He got completely absorbed in kirtan. If we actually analyze the the nature of Lord Chaitanya's activities, he's always absorbed in kirtan, not only chanting but dancing, chanting and dancing. Srila Prabhupada practically everywhere in his books, when he mentions chanting, he says chanting and dancing. And so I think dancing is a very important aspect of devotional service, because, I mean, from my experience, I can say that the highest ecstasies that I ever experience is when I'm dancing. So
You dance a lot, we noticed.
yeah, I just would like to just encourage devotees to try to focus a little more on getting absorbed in the dancing if they possibly can, because that's what Lord Chaitanya did. So, and he was in the Bhakti Avatar. He was demonstrating how to actually experience the highest level of devotional service. He was actually experiencing it, and if we follow in his footsteps, we can also experience that highest level of devotional service.
So that's not a question.
And then when we experience that, then naturally we want to distribute it to others, because all of us, we have a certain level of compassion within our hearts. And so when we experience ecstasy, we want to naturally give it to others. But if we're not experiencing the ecstasy, then what is the motivation to give it to others?
Gotcha.
So
Well,
that's the point I'm making, that
Yeah,
when we experience it, actually, we naturally want to give it to others.
well, thank you for setting the example for that and sharing that realization with us. Thank you. So, Grantharaj Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Madhava Japuri ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.